Hi, how's it going? I know Michael's on his way at some point.
I was gonna say, am I the only one here or what?
I think there's at least one more, but it is Super Bowl, and I've gotten quite a few people last minute that were like, I think I'm watching the game. So I don't know. I don't give a shit if Tom Brady's not playing for New England,
Go Jaguars.
right?
I don't actually care. It was
No.
a joke.
Oh. I don't know.
I know they're bad. That's why I like them.
They have cool uniforms.
And they're Jaguars.
It's true. They are Jaguars. One of the more majestic of the creatures.
Exactly. What's a Buccaneer anyway?
Oh God, do you want the nerd answer?
I'm assuming some kind of pirate.
Well,
Ow.
yes, but it gets nerdier than that. The Buccaneer is named after this French method of smoking meat called boucan, which is how the particular French sailors used to preserve their food. So they would use these, I think it was the actual rack they would use to dry it. It was called boucan, and so they called them Buccaneers.
So they smoke meat. Awesome.
They smoke meat. That's exactly why they're called Buccaneers. They are meat smokers. Yeah, no, that is some nerdy ass history, but I listened to this pirate podcast and they went for hundreds of episodes and they said
There
a lot
are
of,
pirate podcasts out there?
oh my God, there's more than one. There's not just
Oh my
one.
God.
There's a multitude of pirate podcasts.
I need to get on that.
They're like hundreds of episodes. I mean, there's a lot of information out there apparently on pirates. But that's one of the little things that I pulled out of it was this thing where the French guys smoked the meat. But anyway,
I would assume that you would have a similar response next week, just because Valentine's Day. But
oh, is it Valentine's Day? It is.
you should probably get on that. Don't you got a girl?
I do. That's what I'm doing in California. Yeah, no, we're not super into that kind of stuff, but I have to do something.
Exactly. Every girl likes to feel special.
There's no way I can skip it. And I think Heather is off next weekend. So this weekend, like she works every other weekend. So this weekend she's on. So it would follow that next weekend she's off. So that's a good heads up. I don't know what to do about it, but
and it's a holiday. I don't know if that matters to you guys, but
it is. It doesn't matter to me so much, but it is a holiday. I think she's
federal holiday specifically.
Yep. Oh, there's Ryan.
Yay!
I'm at least expecting one more. What's up, dude?
Oh, what up?
Are you watching the game?
I mean, my girl's watching it, but I don't know what the fuck is going on.
You know what the score is? Oh boy, you busted out the old English, huh?
Say what? Oh my God, yeah.
I like it.
So I could afford tonight, man.
What's that?
What I could afford tonight. Old E. You know what this is about. Hey, who's that?
Oh, that
Yo, what's up?
That's my
All that old English, man. If this is gonna be that kind of party, then
yeah. It's that kind of party for him right now. He's already seen this material earlier today. And dropped it in while he's avoiding watching the football game. Apparently his girl's watching the game. He is not. Shalyn is also got snacks.
Yeah.
So left out. I'm the only one without snacks right now. But
you have to be able to fight and eat at the same time. That's the rules,
right? Well, I've been known to drink and fight at the same time.
That
fighting
and do acid, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Anyway, this week is double sticks.
Let me just grab my sticks real quick.
Yeah, go for it, man. Last week we did kicking, but then I got chopped in my knee last week. I'm just finishing my icing cycle. Yeah, it sucked. I slipped and fell, and I started like up kicking at the dude, and he chopped me in the knee with his trainer. It was aluminum, and it felt awful right from the beginning, and then as the day wore on, it just started tightening up, and then like by the end of the day, I had dead leg, and so I've got a long week of a jacked up knee, but
Dude,
definitely on the back.
that downward angle too, that would fucking hurt.
Oh, it hurt. It hurt. It didn't feel good at all. It's weird though, you know, like when that kind of thing happens, you register that it's a thing, and then you kind of move on with it. But it definitely hung around. But I work on my feet, so I don't really have a choice but to just kind of get on with it. But anyway, I've just finished my ice. Oh, did this thing break? I hope not. I think it was just condensation. Anyway, sorry. So basically, Michael, since this is your sort of first, this is sort of your first introduction to what I'm doing here. I'm not like reinventing the wheel. I'm just filtering Kali and Krabi Krabong through my personal experience and the way that I fight, and I'm trying to, you know, I'm getting stuff out of every one of these sessions myself, but you know, I'm kind of figuring out how to get my expression out there to other people. So I appreciate having people that have some experience within Filipino martial arts and weapon fighting in general. But
you're doing great, man. You're doing really great, dude.
I'm honored to be learning from a guy who gave me a borderline concussion last time I saw him. So that's always positive. My last fight for the day, because at the last official gathering, because I went to the medic and he was like, "Yeah, you're done because your sentences aren't making sense right now." So,
oh man,
beautiful.
I don't know.
He beat me up too, so you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very special club. I was gonna say, man, everything you've been posting online, it's like I knew the classes were going on and my schedule's been fucking crazy, but I'll say everything you've posted, man, has been like top-notch stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, shit, I forget, like range and like the switchback, like from Canada. Like there were at least 2 or 3 things that you identified where I've seen people use against me in fights, and I've been like, why the fuck don't I know how to do that? So here we are.
Yeah, I mean,
indeed,
the guys that have mastered the timing and the range and things like that are the guys, you know, that I look up to, and I'm just trying to emulate the stuff that they do. There's little bits and pieces of my game that are just me, but if you look at it, I've just studied a lot of stick fights and watched a lot of guys, and I've seen a lot of guys that are better than me and what they do, and I've picked bits and pieces and been like, how do I make this work for me? Because not everybody's the same. Like the 4 of us all have drastically different body types and drastically different things that are going to be our strengths and weaknesses. So maybe not every piece of this will work the same way for every person, but I do think that it's one of those like it's for anybody but not for everybody kind of deals. That makes sense.
That's the Dog Brothers in general, but like
yeah, there you go. In general, I might put that on a T-shirt. I've got a logo in the works. Paid for, all the designs done. I got the permission. So I wanted to
take the money.
I wanted to put 2 specific weapons on there. I wanted a Fred Perrin style Bowie, and I wanted a Wingard Wearables axe. And Zach Wingard and I are friends, so I was like, "Hey man, is it cool if I put your axe on my shit?" And he was like, "That's awesome, yeah, of course." But I had to I had to direct message Fred Perrin himself and be like, hey, sir, is it okay if I use like very distinctive design on my shit? Like, if you say no, I won't do it. But I sent him a picture because I have 3 of his Bowies of different sizes. I was like, I love your shit. I carry your shit. Like, you know, and he immediately was like, yes, go ahead. That's
awesome, dude. That's fucking dope.
Franglish, French English that he speaks. But yeah, no, I'm pretty pumped about it. It should be, you know, in the next week or 2, I should have a logo, which is kind of like mind blowing to me that I would have even done that.
Are you gonna offer that up for us to buy, or what's up?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna probably make some T-shirts, and
the only reason I'm here to get a T-shirt, man. That's it.
I'm gonna do some
fancy Foxhound T-shirts,
and I want to do patches maybe too. So Nick Merchant designed a T-shirt a couple of years ago with the picture of my face from when Robert Koenig friggin' face washed me in the dirt. And I like sat up and I was all messed up looking. And I never had it like made into a shirt, but I think I'm gonna do 2, or maybe like that on the back and the Foxhound logo on the front. I don't know. Haven't decided yet, but
Well,
anyway. Anyway, so I want to talk about double sticks. I'm going to use my little sticks partially because I'm partially going to be sitting down and partially because I have a ceiling fan with a light, and I've really been trying very hard not to hit it. And so far, I've done a good job. I've come close. I've put a little hole in the wall with a sword already.
Nice.
Then I'm going to be spackling before we move out with the hopes of getting some part of my deposit back, but we'll see. We've also got my absolute savage cat, and we've been raising a puppy in this apartment. So like,
goddamn.
we might be saying bye-bye to that deposit anyway.
Well, a note, man, this helped me out because I had a shitty landlord in my last place. If they do keep your deposit, they have to send you an itemized list of what they used it on. So
I did hear that, which is kind of nice about California.
yeah. Oh, dude, it's on the renter side for sure.
I do cry about certain things, but the renters, it being on the renters side is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, use it. Use it.
No, I gotcha. So anyway, double sticks. My sort of view of double sticks and dual wielding in general is that if you look at historically throughout basically all of mankind, the only real dual wielding that you see popping up again and again is a sword and shield, or a spear and shield, or whatever. You don't see two equal length swords being used like this almost at all. I found a couple of historical pictures of dudes doing like a double rapier kind of thing. But that didn't come about until the Middle Ages, and it looks like they were doing that literally in a dueling environment where it was sort of a showing off kind of deal. It wasn't so much of a battlefield tactic, or even something you wouldn't see a guy walking around town with 2 dueling swords on his hips. It was a very specialized scenario. However, the one place you do see it pop up is Thailand. Krabi Krabong is a 2-sword, well, it's a multi-weapon system, but so a lot of the basis of it is the two swords. And so obviously, like, it makes sense to shift at least some of your focus to this style that has been historically used for a long time. The Kali stuff, the double stick and whatever, I think as mostly being a function of the sport stick fighting more than I think that seems to be where it's developed more than a dude with 2 swords. I mean, maybe, but it's just, if you're in a battle and you can have a shield, you really want that shield, not just to protect yourself against getting hit with a hand weapon, but people throw shit. People shoot arrows, they throw spears and javelins, they throw axes, they throw rocks. Having a thing you can just put up so that you don't get hit by stuff is pretty helpful. Also, most people can only strike effectively with one hand at a time. You know what I mean? Like, you can really only effectively strike with one hand at a time, and most people are going to favor their dominant hand anyway. So having something in this hand to block with while you strike so that you can defend and attack at the same time makes a lot of sense as well. So even though we're not fighting with a shield, when you fight with double stick, you can use your front stick in the manner of a shield with like a sweeping block or a roof block or whatever. You have the ability to create sort of whatever weapon system you want with your double sticks. So for me, I fight out of one of 2 structures generally. So I usually fight out of either a Kali-based structure where I'm more mobile and I'm working off of kind of a more triangular type of footwork, and I'm moving my hands in inward circles. I think Crafty might call this the clock motion.
Yeah.
But I use some sort of an inward circle, or other times kind of coming towards myself. like that. Another thing that I kind of try and focus on is keeping, as if I had swords in my hand, keeping the blades kind of menacing towards my enemy. So instead of being like this, they're sort of out. So the points are sort of forward. If you had swords, the Krabi Krabong sort of theory, when you're loaded up in your stance, you constantly keep your swords pointed at your enemy like tusks, so that if the guy runs onto you, which we all know happens in a stick fight, if you had swords and he runs onto you, you can thrust and he's going to impale himself. You can do that in a stick fight as well. You can thrust, but it's not quite as effective as it would be with a blade. So I transitioned from this kind of more mobile Kali structure into a little bit more of, it was referred to me today by somebody as a fortified structure, and I kind of like that. The Krabi Krabong structure is a little more of a fortified structure. You have a little bit more security around yourself with your sticks. They're both ready to throw up blocks pretty, with a pretty small motion. You just need to extend your hand to the right place. So between those two modalities, I have kind of my triangular footwork covered, and then my large, long step distance control and shuffling covered. And those are, you can, from this Krabi stance, you could choose to do, gotta be careful with my quick movement. You could choose to make some triangular footwork. It's, you're not stuck, if you're here, you're not stuck doing this pacing kind of movement. You're able to do whatever you want, but I sort of break the two structures down broadly like that. So beyond just the basic footwork, you have to tie the strikes and your combining stick and footwork together. So we're going to start with the asterisk footwork, which you guys have kind of already seen, but I don't know, Michael, have you ever heard anyone say asterisk footwork like that?
Asterisk, no, dog tooth. I know. That's what I trained with Greg.
I got I don't know where my notebook is. So, okay, to make an asterisk would be like an X with a lateral across. So there's a female triangle, a lateral step, and then the male triangle. So this would be like, I think this is snaggletooth, gum step, lower canine. If you Mark Denny's term would be, this would be snaggletooth, gum step, lower canine. So there's basically it's a 45-degree step to the right, a 45-degree step to the left, a lateral step to the right, a lateral step to the left. So I'll start from the top. So 45 to the right, return, 45 to the left. Lateral to the right, lateral to the left, back to the right, back to the left. So you can consider those movements to be your first step. So from there, you can do anything. You might step off to the side and then go back on the triangle that way. You could retreat, along that angle. You basically just don't want to retreat directly backwards, like in a panic, and you don't want to just blindly walk forwards.
Yeah.
Structure. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like the way I learned it from Greg is he had me actually mark the triangles, and I think I was doing some of this stuff. It just had different names because eventually what he sent me was like you want to imagine the entire area you're fighting on having all those triangles, and it makes that lateral line too. And the thing he drilled into me with a stick in my face for sure was always 2 steps back and then off. Never more than 2 steps straight back because you're fucked. So
that's a good general rule to have. So when I'm in this structure, the Krabi Krabong kind of structure, I will go straight forward and back to control the distance. So if I'm trying to control the distance, I might take a couple of steps back. but I'm not doing it like running backwards. It's a couple of very controlled, you know, because if the other guy's coming on, you still want to be hitting. You know what I mean? You still want to strike as the other guy comes on. So that's something I just posted a video a little while ago of a double stick fight, and that was what happened when the other guy decided he had enough and he was just going to charge forward to try and close. I was able to back up and score a couple more strikes and a kick on him because I was using a Krabi Krabong footwork. I was able to absorb his rush. If there wasn't a wall behind me, I might have been able to disengage completely, but I was able to absorb his rush and continue to deliver damage. So, anyway, so from the asterisk, right, load up in like an open position, double caveman in Dog Brothers speak, and we're going to step on that 45-degree angle and cut a forehand slash and return. And then on the other side, forehand slash and return. Lateral to the right and a horizontal. Lateral left, horizontal. And then when you step back, a rising shot. This would be like a bolo strike. And then a bolo strike. So as you go through, concentrate on the body mechanic. And then as you step back, withdrawing your stick back to where it's back in play. So here. Oh, sorry. When you do the lateral step, I just did it all lazy. When you do the lateral step, throw your strike at like chin level. So if you've got a stick, you're throwing it for a knockout. If you've got a sword, you're throwing it as a decapitation shot.
Are you still, Matt? Are you still wanting the kind of knuckles like blade out kind of focus?
So I personally try and always have my body mechanic the way that you would throw strikes with a sword. However, you bring up a good point because you can throw a pretty hard shot like this where your hand is coming in flat as opposed to like this. I'm striking where my knuckles are leading as if I have a blade. But you can do it whichever way is more powerful. If you're stick fighting and you can throw this shot like a bitch slap harder than you can with your palm up, go for it. Like that's kind of your own mechanic. I personally throw as if it's a blade. Same thing with the rising shots. So these rising shots, you're looking for the hands, the bottoms of the arms, and in the case of this being a blade, you want to, you're aiming for the things that are going to make their arms stop working properly. If you have an impact tool like a stick, you can aim for the hand and go to smash the small bones. Then you can throw it like that, where like a tennis racket, you know what I mean? Like you can still generate power like this. Whereas if you have a blade, you have to lead with that blade edge. So, step, 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 step. Once we go through that a few times, now we're going to throw two strikes. So we're going to throw forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand. You can play with this on your own, where you can strike forehand on the way out, backhand on the way back, forehand on the way out, backhand on the way back, or 1-2, 1-2. So the difference sort of in the timing. This is something that, like, for the sake of right now, we're going to just do it on the step. 1-2, and then return. 1-2, return. Out here. 1-2, 1-2. Same thing with the uppercuts. 1-2, 1-2. People sometimes have trouble with this strike think of it like you're unsheathing a sword. This is one place where you do want to keep the knuckles aligned as well. Can't really hit that hard with the back of your hand like this. It's not a good mechanic, but as you come out like this, you're able to transfer the power without compromising your arms like structure. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Cool. So that's kind of, you know, a little bit of a warm up, a little bit of a way to start to tie your sticks in with your footwork. Like I said, you can do it as you do this drill on your own, which I highly recommend. This is a good way to warm up. Just getting yourself kind of, even right before, you know, going as far, fighting a gathering or something, just kind of covers all your striking angles and gets your hips tied in with your feet and your shoulders and everything else. So you can do it where you kind of mess with either like, you know, mess with the timing where we're cutting at the end or we're cutting here and then we're cutting back, or you can mix in other things. You can cut forehand, backhand horizontal. You can cut forehand horizontal, backhand diagonal, and, you know, change it up and keep it fresh and keep your brain kind of kicking in new stuff at all times. That's the best way to stay flexible in a fight too, is to have worked through these things in like, it has a structure, it has like a rigid structure, but it's flexible enough to, you know, to keep your mind flexible within that striking pattern. Next, we're going to do some kind of fluid striking Sinawali stuff. So,
Oh shit.
Sinawali, which means weaving, is something that a lot of systems do, but without having some idea of how it works in a real fight, it's just a dead pattern. It's literally like two guys standing there in front of each other doing Heaven 6 or whatever cool version of it they do, or sombratas or whatever. But without having some idea of tying it to footwork and why you would do it in the first place, you know, it's just lost in the martial arts and crafts world. But sort of there's kind of different positions that you can wind up in. So first, starting from a closed position. So this would, I called this open position, what we were doing from the asterisk. I consider this open position. You have one stick on each side of your body and they're operating independently. This is not an unskilled structure. It can be. I fought a dude who fought like this last weekend, and he was tough. He absorbed a lot of hits, and he like gave hits back, but his hits weren't that good. He had bloody stick hickeys, and I like have a couple little bruises. So, you know, and we traded hard a couple of times. I mean, he was tough. He got in there, but it just.
This was the guy at the end that you were just throwing with, right? Hero Fit or.
What's that?
There was one. Sorry, I remember what you're talking about. There was one fight at the end where it looked like you guys were just standing and trading at some point.
Yeah. It was a double stick fight, and I didn't know, he had never really had one, and I was like, all right, man, I think we can do double sticks, and he just came out super hard, and I mean that's all well and good, but like if you don't know how to generate power as you strike, your hits don't matter. It's, you know, you can have all the balls in the world, but when you're coming out with the equivalent of this, like, I don't know how to help you at that point. Like, we're gonna have to talk about it after.
Fourth grade.
So anyway, I consider this open position. One thing about this that it makes it kind of a sophisticated position is this way, regardless of which hand I throw, if I miss, I'm able to back it up with the other one immediately. So if you try and attack, if I throw this and you try and attack it, I have the ability to close in and strike you with this hand. So this isn't like an uneducated, like, oh, caveman, Mongo bullshit structure. It's legit if you're using it correctly. Some guys won't, but there is a sophistication that can come from it. For this drill, we'll start in a closed position like this. So this, what I was doing with the kind of Krabi Krabong structure is this. I mean, from a drilling standpoint, this is the same thing. It's just, it's tighter. You wouldn't really fight like this necessarily. I've seen guys kind of come out like this, but it's awkward. We have the same mechanics available from here, but for the sake of the drill, from closed position, first we're gonna throw a forehand slash and then a backhand slash. And now we're on the other side, but the hands are loaded up differently. And then it's a backhand slash and a forehand slash. Now we're back to here. So forehand, backhand, backhand, forehand. And I don't know do you guys know Corto footwork at all? Have you ever heard of short range footwork? Excuse my wicked dirty Matt cave. So
Did we do that earlier today or no?
I didn't put in the footwork earlier. I'm starting to do it right now, so I figured I might as well show you guys. So Corto's short range footwork from Pikiti Tertia is as I turn my body, or as I turn, I'm turning my foot like this, and my body is going completely offline.
All right.
So what I'm doing here is I'm going 1, 2, 3, or actually I'm not doing 1, 2, 3. I'm doing 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm doing this footwork as I do the strikes. 1, 2, 1, 2. And my hips are generating the power for my strikes. So see, I'm cutting 1, 2, where my hip is turned over and I'm that way. And I'm out here and I'm cutting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
It's really like leaning. Yeah.
Huh?
It's like a cat stance, right? From the side?
It is. You're generating power from your hips at close range. This is also a big time knife thing within Pikiti, because you're at a tighter range. So you
Right.
and it's moving your center line from side to side. But I gotta stop doing that.
Yeah,
I got a
watch that leg.
little carried away on that one. So
Can I ask one quick question, buddy?
so what do you got?
So it's like you're here. This is where it starts, right? No?
Yeah. Yep.
And you
Forehand.
throw
Yep. Backhand.
this one.
Yep.
You're doing that cat stance type like structure.
So I'm turning with the strike. The kinetic chain from your feet to your hips all the way through takes the strike.
Sorry, Matt. So the right hip, if I'm throwing that right overhand, then the right hip is throwing out, right? Okay, so
All right.
So it's asymmetrical also. And that's for a reason. Like, we're gonna chain this into making it Heaven Six and Wally. But as we're doing this, we're throwing these, and now the hands are all cocked in a different position. So we're returning, right? Now, if you wanna do the closed position on this side, you can throw a jab in there. So I go 1, 2, and then jab, and I'm load up here. Cut, cut.
Ooh, I like that.
So, ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba.
Yeah. So if you've ever done Heaven 6 in a Wally, Heaven 6 is 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
So we're building into that. But you're also able, so when you throw this, you're throwing one strike from this side, one strike from that side. 1, 2, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have your opponent getting used to this rhythm. So if you're attacking the guy and you're striking 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get him used to that, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You're coming from over here, you're throwing 2 strikes from this side, ha ha, and 2 strikes from this side. And you start conditioning him to that. Now you throw 1, 2, and then 1. And now you've messed him up. Now you're going 1, 2, ha. And then you have 2 strikes right away available from that side. So that guy's only expecting there to be those 2 beats. So you've got 1,
Yeah.
2 here, and then you're loaded back up for 2 more. He's expecting maybe
Oh,
1
man.
more.
I have a question, but I don't know if it's a silly question. But like, if you're when you're doing that, like, what if you see this? Like, if you're starting here, what if you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you make it less predictable that you're gonna do this?
So we're loading
you
up
hide
in this. We're loading up in this very predictable structure for the drill, but
I'm saying
if we're fighting
in a combat scenario.
yeah, if we're fighting, I'm doing this, right? And see at this point, now my sticks are both on this side.
Mhm.
My sticks are both on this side. So I'm doing this, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
I'm coming from here. Wow, wow.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
All right.
Or I'm in this structure already,
Oops, sorry.
right? So from here, they're both on the same side. That's kind of what I was saying before about this being the
Right.
same as this, but it also can be this. So it's all about figuring out your movement and hiding.
Right.
Like you said, this is real predictable.
Yeah.
Especially if you've done these drills. This is something that you're like, oh, well, I know what he's gonna do. Maybe he'll come with this first. Maybe he'll do one of these, but it's probably gonna be something like this. So you have to hide.
You have to hide it, right?
So once you figure out hiding it, that's the trick. You know what I mean? Your setups. Danaher said that when you have 2 guys that are of similar skill level and similar physical ability, the guy with the better setups is gonna win.
Yeah.
So it's all
Make sure
about,
you do it the right way. I'm gonna close the door.
it's all about figuring out hiding your setups. So anyway, so once we've got the ability to show the guy, you know, the 1, 2, 1, 2 kind of stuff, now we break it with the 1, 2, 3, and then you're loaded up for the 1, 2, 3 from the other side. Right? So a couple of these. And then a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I want some of that. Hey, I'll be right back, right?
No problem, dude.
Hey, Matt,
Yeah.
2 questions, and I don't want to
Nope.
get
No,
too complicated here. But one, would you want us to drill this as the 1, 2, 1, 2, and then after 2 or 3 of those, work in the third?
Yeah, break it. Exactly.
Okay.
Set the
So it's
pattern.
almost like mentally, like we're doing the setup and then we change it.
Right. Set the pattern, build in that reaction from your opponent, and then break the pattern.
Yeah. Perfect.
So-
Yeah. You fuckers do this to me all the time, by the way.
I'm not
so-
a musician, but people that are have pointed out before the beats and the patterns that you get them used to, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2,
Yeah.
1, 2, and then you go 1, 2, 3. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you've caused this massive disruption.
Yeah, the funny thing about the programming it into your body and your nervous system is like my brain will be like, oh, you're doing a pattern. You're trying to fucking catch me. And I still walk into it
Mhm.
because the body is like so like conditioned. But here's my second question. like say, like obviously I'm using the short sticks like you are, say I'm using the long. Do you have a preference when we're drilling if we like follow through with the strikes, or do you want just like pop, 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 pop? You know what I mean?
That's circumstantial to what you're like. If you're throwing strikes with your long sticks, yeah, I mean follow through. You can do this. So
Yeah,
you can
you want
yeah,
to
you can
tip, right?
1, 2, 3, 4. You can really get them all the way out there. We're in kind of tight spaces, except
Yeah,
for
of
Lynn,
course.
who has the gym to herself. And
Yeah,
I'm glad has appropriately long sticks. Like I would definitely have my full length fighting sticks right now if I had space, but I don't. So I'm gonna be jealous about it and salty.
Same.
I have my little sticks. So yeah,
Phrasing.
no, you can make it. You make it work for the situation. If you're in tight, you know what I mean. If you're doing this in a back alley with knives, you got to do it tight. If you're doing it in a big space, or if you're in like, say, the next time we have a gathering, maybe we have it in a cage. Things are going to be smaller. You're not going to have the space to throw these big techniques. So
Yeah.
It's all circumstantial, but the body mechanic is going to be the same.
Yeah, it's more about the legs and that. Yeah, so again, I didn't want to focus too much on something that isn't that important right now. But I've also found that when I'm in that adrenaline state, all my shots go from this to like this.
Yeah. That does happen.
Tight.
That definitely does happen. So sort of the next kind of level to this is going to be, we're going to do it off of the male triangle, or this would be lower canine by Dog Brothers standard. So we're going to start on, say, the bottom. There's a little trigonometry here. We have the legs of the triangle, and the hypotenuse, right, is the side. So we're going to start at the bottom of the left leg. Oh, you went to a small room now. Is that what you did? Now you're in a little room? Okay. So we're going to start at the bottom of this leg. And the first strike is going to be that, the forehand, and then the backhand. And then as we go out the other leg, we're going to go backhand, forehand. And then we're going to attack back. Same strikes, but going the opposite direction, right?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So we're going to keep that. Actually, no, fuck that. All right, now I know what we're going to do. I changed my mind. I keep doing this during, where's my pencil? I keep doing. I keep adding little bits. I keep adding little bits to my notes as we take these classes. So, all right.
Hey, just figure out good ideas, man.
So as we go, we start from this side, and you can do it in whatever, if you want to start in the real closed position, you want to start in a kind of a krabi, or you want to set up from here. We're gonna go the 1, 2, 3, 4 as we come out, or I'm sorry, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're loaded up on this side, and you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Oh shit.
Right. Oh shit, I even messed it up on that one. So it's cutting forehand, backhand, backhand. Forehand, backhand, backhand. So this one is another thing where you could cut through, or you can do jab.
Oh man,
jab,
I don't know if my brain can do it right now. I'll just watch. Sorry.
It's the same pattern, right?
I just watch.
Forehand, backhand, backhand.
Backhand.
1, 2,
1, 2, 3.
1,
Right?
2, 3.
Damn. Wait. It's the second part that fucks me up.
This hand, hand.
Oh shit. Sorry. Old English guy. Sorry about that.
So, like I said, you can do it here. We're jabbing. Jab, jab, jab. Or we can slash, 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 slash.
Either way, Matt, the back ends of the like where the hypotenuse meets the legs or whatever at the bottom, you end up back in the close, right?
Well, yes, exactly. So we're
Got
back
it.
here.
Yeah.
So this is just building in, coming up, say you're right in front of your opponent, you're gonna, like, to set this up, you'd probably lateral step first and then come in and go out on them. You know what I'm saying? Because most people won't let you just angle off. They're gonna turn, right?
Yeah.
If you start trying to get the angle on the guy, he's gonna go, well, that doesn't seem like a good idea. And he's gonna keep trying to keep you in front of him. So realistically, if you're trying to pull this off in a fight, you're gonna go to here and then do it. But you've got, right, the first shot covering yourself as you go in, the second one is you transition feet, and the third one can cover you on the way out. You know what I'm saying? So with the 1, the 2, and the 3. 1, 2, 3.
Can you send me this later today, dude?
Yeah, so I have the one
Or
from this
tomorrow.
morning uploaded. I just finished uploading it, and this one I'll do tonight too. So I'll send you both links.
Yeah, and link me on because I have to watch this a lot.
Okay. I
Right
mean,
now, my brain's not working the way it really should be.
Yeah, definitely.
I see this part. This here, right?
So
And then
if
from
we're
here-
just standing still, it's this. Or
I'm not used. See, this is my right. Here. What's that about? I'm just gonna watch. Sorry, man. My brain is Bob Marley
Dude.
rolling paper.
drink
Old
malt
English. Come on,
liquor,
now. I'm just
roll,
gonna watch.
roll one up, and
You know what I mean? I tried.
I'll catch up with you after.
But if I watch this like 10 times in a row, I'll get it for next time.
I got you. Don't worry about
All
it.
right.
So, okay. So
I'm learning. I'm processing.
I know you've seen some of this stuff, and I'm also tweaking it a little bit too. So like you've also seen these classes haven't been exactly the same.
But I told you, man. When it comes to all that bullshit, the fucking doing all this shit.
Yeah.
That's always been a problem for me.
Well, I'm sorry. So now.
No, so it's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Now we're gonna look at like a way to implement this actually into into your attack, and then a couple of ways you can break the pattern on guys. So when you think about
this,
when you think about your opponent, we talked about this stuff this morning. So when you think about your opponent's structure,
I got a bunch of notes.
You're either dealing with some version of this or some version of this. Similar to how I do it. There's either going to be a hand out here doing probing and striking stuff, and a big one back here, or they're both going to be set up for this kind of stuff. So Mark Denny's solution makes a lot of sense. So a lot of this stuff will be stuff maybe you've kind of seen a little bit of already. But the way that I look at it is I start to make judgments based on where my opponent's front stick is pointed. If his front stick is pointed out this way at all, I start to think about it from one standpoint. If it's pointed out this way at all, I think about it from a different way. But also,
interesting.
When you're gonna run at the guy, you got to think about his power hand, right? So you got to avoid getting smashed in the head with this. And I would argue you almost always have to do some sort of disruptive motion to this one. And especially if you have two sticks, that shouldn't be that big of a deal. So if you want to make this pattern that we're doing right now work, you look at the other guy's structure and say he's left side forward with his big stick ready to strike the backside. You attack his front stick with your forehand slash. So you can do this with either leg forward.
I was just about to ask that, dude.
Yeah, you can start with either leg forward, whatever way you happen to be standing and loading
Mhm.
up.
Mhm.
But you want to run your line to his inside in this case, because all three of your strikes are not coming from the same side, right? They're coming from opposite sides, and you have to, or your first two are coming from the same side. Your third one's coming from the opposite side. So you're gonna need to be hitting him on your backhand. So your first strike attacks his front stick, right? You blast his front stick out of the way. The closer to the tip of the stick you hit, the more leverage you're gonna have in turning his hand. The closer to the hand you hit, the more likely he's going to be able to keep it firm in front of himself.
Mhm.
The option there being, stop it. The option there being you blast him in the hand.
Yeah, right.
If
Yeah.
you can hit the hand is always best. Anytime you can hit a
Mhm.
person in the hand, hit him in the hand. Like,
Hell fucking yeah.
never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. So the first strike goes to either the stick or the hand. As you're doing that, you're starting to move forward, and now you're covering your step. In this case, Steve brought up a good point. I call every block like this, regardless of where it is, I call it roof block.
Yeah, but I always understood what you were saying when you said that.
Yeah, I always call this roof block, and I always call this umbrella block.
Umbrella, yeah.
But Steve pointed out that if you do a straight roof block from there, you might get smashed in the hand. So you want
I've had that happen, man. I learned that lesson the hard way.
No, likewise.
Ronnie about broke my fucking hand. It's like, nope, not here.
I literally did broke my fucking hand. I don't know if you can see. I'm missing just entire knuckle. You can fit like two. You can fit two sticks in there.
Never compare injury to the full dog brother. You're not gonna win.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but the blocking here, yeah, you always want to on that angle, right?
So this block you want to come out more in like a sweep to cover your head, but it also. So if he throws the strike, you block it. If he doesn't throw the strike, this is going to probably make him flinch back. And then the third strike would be to the head. And you're doing this on a drive-by. So you're doing this on an angle out. So you're looking at him. You come out to here. 1, 2, 3. And then you leave. Or you don't have to leave. You could come with the 1, 2, 3 here. And turn back.
And just keep it.
And now drive forward.
That's the thing. That's what I asked earlier, man. Like, I feel like for me, I would try to keep like 2, 3, those 3 hits, and then just like balance. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get into the mindset of staying in front of someone and just like trying to do combos and shit.
When you get those 3 hits in and drive by a couple of times, you're softening the guy up. And once he sees you doing that, where you're continually just passing him by, that's what he's going to expect. So once you've done it a few times, right, then you break the pattern. And you come in and you drive on him. Whoops, I hit the door. So from your stance, you fire his first stick, block his second stick, and then backhand. So if you've gone fast enough, you might catch him flush in the side of the head or as he's turning. Because now he might be turning to try and deal with you, and he's catching that backhand shot. Especially if he's seen you doing this kind of stuff. Because now he's gonna expect that same pattern, and you're not gonna do it like that.
In a situation like that, sorry, I don't know, should I keep on going?
No, go ahead.
So the guy sees you doing that, right? And he just decides to just like totally completely break away and just like totally reset from far away and then come back into the fight.
Some guys will do that. Some guys see your weird shit and they back up. But that's telling. Like at that point, you can start to walk them down. So at that point, don't bother anymore. Go get him.
You walk them down. That's it. You walk them down.
If a guy's running away,
down, man.
Yeah, you're not training to fight the guy who's running away. Like we should be able to deal with that. You go get him.
Oh shit!
Just
I love that, bro.
hunt him down. What, are you running away? Don't worry, I'll catch you eventually. Don't run, you're just gonna
Bro,
die
you're writing,
tired.
hunt him down. Hunt him
Yeah.
down.
Crafty
I'm
Dog.
gonna underline down like 3 times.
Crafty Dog calls it stinkum. He is the turd, you are the smell. Where he goes, you will follow. And yeah, you just stay on him. When you have advantage, take advantage.
Matt, with
I wrote that down earlier, right there, bro. I wrote it down.
So
If you have advantage, take advantage. Don't let him get his shit together.
I had
Oh,
a question, man. When you got a
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So can you go through that sequence again where you had the clear and then I think it was into a roof and then the third strike to the side? You just slow that down real fast.
So it's that same pattern we've been using, but you're reading which side to run it on based on your opponent's feet first. So that's when I'm coming out of this stance, I'm looking at his feet. And when I see which of his feet is forward, now I know I can go to his inside, right? So if he's standing in this left side forward, I'm going to run towards his inside, towards his right. Sure. My first strike is going to be with my left hand. Or, well, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? My front hand is going to attack his stick, right?
Sure.
This hand, which we have been cutting with, is now coming out to block.
Ah, that's it. Okay. That's where I lost
it. This hand, after it hit their stick, is coming up to your shoulder, right?
Got it.
And this one is coming up to the block.
Okay.
Now we should be our hips should be close to in line with his at this point because we're coming in on him. And now we have the big shot available. Sure. So here you can either make it a quick shot to the face and keep going, or you can turn and make it a powerful backhand. And if you make it a power backhand, now this hand is loaded up. And through doing this, I turn my center of gravity and my hips directly at his. And now I'm lined up perpendicular to his hips. So now you can drive.
Okay.
And I like to drive forward like this because it keeps me from winding up in this situation as I run forward. There's times when crossing your hands over is good, but if you're just running at a guy, throwing just forward redondos really hard as you run seems to work pretty well. Steve does that. Steve Sachs, Defender Dog, has a really powerful, he's 200 pounds. So he's got a very powerful forward rush that
Chris too. Chris, sorry.
Yeah, Chris is another guy.
Cat's Dog does it.
Yep. There's a few different.
When Marcus was here as well, Marcus and Martin, those guys, they have the old like a style like that kind of
I look at it.
Those kind of movements.
I look at it like a locomotive. It's like a train, right? So if you look at like an old school locomotive, the train, I don't know what part it is. It's an arm of some sort. It's doing this.
I just feel like I think we talked about this before as well. We didn't know what to call it either.
Yeah, I'm calling
like the gears,
Yeah, I'm just calling this the locomotive. So once you get to that point, right, we attack the front stick, we sweep, and we backhand. Now, this strike comes in. Instead of coming across, it's coming down. And then this one comes down. Right? Yeah. It looks kind of goofy.
That's hard.
You want to keep it tight to your body because you're aiming, realistically, you're kind of aiming your stick in a little because you're trying to hit him in the head, right? You're trying to hit your opponent. So come out, block, power backhand, strike, like that. So
so much harder from the non-dominant side. That's where I'm getting scrambled.
And you gotta keep moving. Like
do it from the other side then. So I'm doing it from the one side. Do it from the other side. Now we're on this side. Strike, block, strike, and come in.
And then just start walking it down.
Yep. Strike their stick.
Wait a second. Am I confused here, dude? Am I confused? Wait. Look. bang, right?
Yeah,
Bang.
yeah.
Wait, sorry.
Backhand. Yeah, you're loaded up.
Fuck,
Your first
hold on.
hand is doing this.
Bang, bang. Oh my god, I fucked up, yo. Wait. Boom, boom, boom. And then just like straight
Yeah,
up walking down that
all to
line.
do with when you turn. So you're out here, attacking the front stick, blocking the second one, right? Now you're essentially parallel to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Turn a big shot here, right? Your backhand shot now, instead of just being a quick pop and run away, you're hammering the guy. You're giving him a big backhand, and that brings this hand behind it. So the body mechanic of you throwing this is bringing this behind it. Attack here.
And then you just continue walking the guy down.
Yeah, just drive on him. Drive on him. Yeah. Chances are he's either going to peel off and angle away, or fall or tie up with you, because that's a lot of guys are going to want to tie up at that point. They're not going to want to keep eating these stick strikes to the head. Likewise, this is where you once you drive the guy back a couple of times, try a kick. Throw a kick at him or something. You can or the other thing that you can do, once you start to drive a guy back, trip them. Just kick their feet. Like as soon as a person starts backpedaling like that, kick their foot and lift it up, and they're gonna fall right on their butt. So
I don't think I ever made anyone backpedal yet, dude.
what's that?
I don't think I've ever made anyone really backpedal like that,
Well, now you know this move, and you
maybe
can
like 1 foot.
What's that?
I want to try so bad. Oh, I can't wait to try.
I hear Steve and Nick are training every Saturday morning. I think you could probably try it on them.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet with those guys real soon. Real soon.
I'm sure it'll
After
work
this
really
week.
well. So this is
I'm gonna really try these moves.
this is one side of the triangle, or I'm sorry, one side of attack when they're standing like this. The other side is this side. So we ran to the inside. And when you run to the inside, you have to do something about both sticks. If you run to the outside, you have the ability to avoid this stick. They have to turn all the way around to get you. Unless you got somebody that's going to throw you run into somebody that's able to hit you with those, you're probably not going to fool them with much of this shit anyway. So from this standpoint, you want to attack. You want to attack this stick still. But then if we're getting 3 shots off, you should be getting like 2 free ones on this one. So here we want to attack that front hand, either with a shot to the hand itself, or you kind of start to bait them and then block with the umbrella block. But for the sake of this, we're gonna be aiming for the hand. But you can do it where you're throwing an umbrella block first, because we're gonna give them a backhand in a second. But what we're going to do with the other hand is now we're going low. So what we were doing before was Heaven 6 Sinwali. This is Heaven and Earth Sinwali. So your front hand would be either attacking their hand or coming out to block and to bait, kind of. You're putting this up there to make the guy throw the strike if you're doing it this way. But your second one is just blasting them in the leg. And you should be getting a free shot on the thigh or the knee or whatever you're aiming at. So you got them thinking about this.
Are you doing that with a right? Are you doing that with a right foot or a left foot forward? The right foot, no?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I can do it from here, or I can do it from here. Doesn't matter. It's up to your own movement. So.
All right.
First hand striking, second hand striking, and then backhand, or umbrella block, backhand. So here you're getting the 2 hits for 1. You're taking 1 shot at the leg and 1 shot at the head, which you're accomplishing 2 things here. 1, obviously you're throwing the 2 strikes from the same side, but you're also changing levels on the guy. So as you do that, you're affecting a person's OODA loop, their ability, they observe, orient, decide, and act.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when you start tagging somebody up on the legs and the head, you're making them start to shift their focus back and forth. Do I need to do this? Do I need to do this? How do I handle that? Single stick, it's still a big deal to change levels and strike someone in the leg.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
once double stick is involved, it feels a lot more helpless when the guy starts hitting you in the legs, because you might have thought you were doing the right thing, or you might have blocked his high stick and then just taken one on the leg. So that's what we're accomplishing here. We're drawing the strike, striking the legs, and then throwing the backhand strike. And from here, you can either shift to that drive forward, or you can run back. So
And reset, right?
here, yep, coming out here. And this is another case where you can use this block to power your strike coming.
Yeah.
This strike, when we were stepping back, is that unsheathing the sword motion. Only you're doing it low into the guy's leg. So from here,
It's like you using using
right.
the block to guide the power strike coming, right?
Correct. Or you can strike for the hand.
Oh, and hide the power shot, right?
Yeah. If his hand is available, hit his hand. Like I said, always hit.
Hell
the hand.
yeah.
So if that
That's
guy
my
is
number one
really
target, dude.
out there, if he's really out there like this, available to be hit, and you can make that first strike hit his hand, absolutely do that every time. So you strike to the hand, strike to the leg, strike to the head. Hand, leg, head. Or you're out here and you're going. Right.
Hand, leg.
Right. For the other side,
Hand, leg,
leg,
head.
head. Here, there. Hand, leg, head. Same thing. Or umbrella block, leg, head. With this one too, you can kind of mess with your footwork, because it's also possible he's going to step back a little bit when you throw that leg shot. Maybe you don't hit him. Maybe he kind of sees it coming. So if that happens, instead of continuing your drive-by footwork, you can diamond step at him. Before, we were getting parallel and driving into him, but if he gives a step, you know what I mean? If his leg is here and he's like, oh, he's going to hit me, and he does this, instead of continuing to run by, you can take that next step in. So where I'm coming here and here, I miss. Now, instead of going here and going by, I can step the diamond step in and catch him. I angle back in. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I missed.
But what if he does? I'm sorry, man. What if he's like, so he sees that one too? Remember?
He's
like
a better fighter than you. I can't fix he's better than you.
Would you rush him? Would you
That's
keep
my
on,
answer.
would you
Train more.
keep on, or would you be like, all right, you know what, fuck it, I'm back in there. Start over.
No, I would abandon that. After like 1 or 2 cuts, if it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board and come again. Don't keep doing it. Eventually the guy's going to get smart and either crash and knock you off, or something. Like the continual cutting back and forth, unless you're insanely athletic. Like some guys are really athletic and able to make it work, but you want to kind of keep it to, you know, your stalking motions or whatever. These are going to be explosive, you know, entries on the guy. It's not so much.
Right.
You're not walking around the place going like this.
Obviously, Matt, I can't remember it very clearly, and thanks, but I'm pretty sure that a headshot you got on me was out of that diamond step, because I put a pole between us because I was like, Jesus Christ, get this guy off me. And then I came around the side, and that's when you diamond stepped to the side and caught it. So Greg Donnybrook does it too with a bolo shot at the elbow, which lands pretty well.
Yep, that stuff is fairly Dog Brothers-y. But that's a good example. I didn't want to, put you on that particular spot, but you were doing everything in your power to not get hit. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm still coming. I'm still coming.
Well, it was a mental thing too, because you came at me at one point and I cleared one of your sticks and I hit you in the face mask. And my brain went, oh, I hit him. Good job. But then you didn't stop. And I was like, he's supposed to stop. I hit him in the face. And not like, oh, well done, touche, good man. You've hit me.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I hit you in the face. You should be down. And you didn't stop. So I was just trying to get the fuck away from you just to regroup. You wouldn't let me do it, which was great.
That's, I don't know what it would be like in that case to not have a face mask on so that someone could really see your expression. But I try not to overly show it when I get hit. Once in a while, I'll either nod, like if you give me a good one, I'll like nod sometimes, or I'll shake my head. But usually I try not to, like, if I take a leg shot or something, I don't usually react big. I just kind of keep coming forward because that fucks with people really bad.
Well, it was a great
people's heads.
Yeah, well, it showed me like the thing I learned in our fight was the mental game is there. And then with Omega, when I fought him, I beat the crap out of Cancer and he had a whip and I took a buckler and a knife just to see what would happen. And
were we at the same beat the crap out of Cancer or not?
No.
No, I was at the one in LA. This was last year.
Oh,
shit. Not 2019.
Yeah, right.
I was with this guy.
Yeah.
I watched him kick ass all day.
I did a lot of fights that day. There were a lot of
fucking man. I feel like you and Nick did a hell of a lot of fights.
Yeah, that was a good.
I did 3.
We had some good people. But yeah, so I want to get in at least one more here. So that's
I got a boogie, bro. I got a boogie. Good. I'm gonna have so much fun. And I learned some cool stuff. Send me this so I can rewatch it, please.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna upload this one tonight too, and I'll send you both because you're at the morning as well.
All right, everybody have a great Sunday.
By the way, I'm Mike. So
nice to meet you. Let's be friends on Instagram.
Yeah. Let's hit each other when we get a chance.
Yeah, I know that's PS Sparkle Bottom. She's cool gal.
Cool.
All right. Have a great night.
All right, man.
Enjoy it. Matt, thanks for everything, man. I really appreciate it, dude. You're the man.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
Send me that. I want to watch that. I want to study it.
I will. Peace.
Peace.
All right. So now we've got Heaven 6 and Heaven and Earth kind of as fighting combinations. So you can choose when you're going to run one way or the other, whether you want to, if you want to run towards the guy's backside, get that leg attack in there and make it harder for him to follow, or, run the other side and drive at him that way. The other combo that I wanted to do, so Green Mountain Dog, it was my first teacher, and he taught like mainly Pikiti Tertia. That asterisk drill is pretty Pikiti. And he really likes the traditional terms for stuff. And then Buffalo Dog, Candidate Buffalo Dog, is also from that area. He's also a Guro and PTK, and he also really likes the traditional names. But we've got this other friend, Mike, who, much like myself, likes to fuck with those two guys, very much so. So we like to come up with like other names for stuff, and like our favorite ones, Spotty Dog for Spotty Daga, and then the Jedi. Instead of like reverse 2, when we do this, we make lightsaber noises and go whoa, whoa. Yeah, because that it makes those guys so mad. Because especially when we do like what do they call that? Tri-V, where it's 1, 2, reverse 2, or it's like 1, 4, reverse 2. So we do like lightsaber like whoa, 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 noises on them. I hate that shit. But this pattern we call Gay Cowboy, because the first time I showed it to these guys, Mike goes, all I can think of is you sitting on a horse like a gay cowboy. And so I was like, yeah, well, guess what this is now called? The Gay Cowboy. So every now and again, if we're in the same place at a fight and one of us is fighting, the other one will yell, "Hit him with the gay cowboy!" Because that's what this is kind of what's happening for a second. So
I like that.
same idea where we're attacking their sticks and blocking, but now instead of throwing that backhand where you've got the strikes coming from different sides, all three are coming from the same side. Crafty calls this. Fuck, what's he call this one? He has a name for it.
Redondo 3.
Is it Redondo 3? So this isn't. This isn't a Redondo. That drives me crazy. He has another name for it, I think. Anyway, we call this gay cowboy, but I will absolutely, like, I give credit to the giants whose shoulders I stand upon. I definitely learned this one from like Dos Triques. So you run in, attack the front stick, and then your front hand is doing this. It's coming around one time and then coming with a power shot at the end.
Boom, boom, boom.
Right?
Right. Okay.
Same thing if you do it on that side. Right? Your inside, your other hand is coming up with that block. So it's coming around like that. And I think about this like there's a string or a rope attached from the tip of one weapon to the tip of the other one. Where as this comes through, it pulls this out right behind it. So it's one smooth motion. You don't want to be like, I do this, then I do this, then I do this. You want it to all be one.
Yeah.
The other side.
Okay.
So attack the stick, come up, and come through.
So it's almost like the first strike and when it follows through with the third strike, it's like it just keeps that momentum going, right?
Yes, correct. So
Okay.
This is one that you'll see people throw. Like you'll see guys do this, especially now that you know it. Watch, because you'll see guys do it pretty frequently. I show those other two first because this is more common to see. Right? Those other two are more common to drill. Like you don't find a lot of people drilling it this way right off the bat, but for some reason it seems like the most fluid combination to throw. So you'll see guys kind of learn it as a fighting combo earlier, especially if they're DBMA guys or they've seen the Dos Triques DVDs. Like they're gonna know this. They're gonna have some idea about it. So it's good to know, and it's good to throw on people that don't know. If you're fighting a guy who's comes from a Krabi Krabong background, this kind of stuff works good on them because they're trained to throw this this strike with power when in doubt, basically to just, you know, their hand is already back here. They just throw the ball. So you're baiting them into doing that. You're dealing with their front stick, and then you're throwing that block. So either they do strike or they don't. But if they don't strike, then they have to deal with your next shot. Like they don't have the ability to get a hit on you afterwards. If you've got this coming fast, right? If you've got this coming where you're going 1, 2, 3, even if they don't strike here, their strike is going to have to be a block for this. They can't just choose to ignore it. You know what I'm saying? So you take out their stick and then you draw their strike. If they don't strike, okay, fine. They have to block.
Yeah.
So your plan B in this case should be sound. They should have to deal with it one way or the other. And most guys are gonna bite and throw that strike. Like when someone hits your stick down and starts running towards you, the instinct to just do this. As your stick goes to here, you want to just follow right through. So your block has to come with that same timing where it comes into play really quickly. Sorry, I'm gonna Yeah.
Got it. So by the time you've cleared it, you're already in that block, and
Yeah.
then the other one's already loaded up. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yes. Yep. So that in terms of material, I just threw a whole bunch of crap at you guys. This would all be way better if we were all in the same physical place because you could see your opponent. Even if we were standing with a pane of glass between us and we weren't able to hit sticks, if we were able to do this where you could really see the person in front of you, it starts to make even more sense. I'm gonna try and get Kaju won't do it. I can't get Dean on the Zoom, no matter how hard I try. I've been like, hey man, I could really use a second set of hands. And he's like, hey man, go fuck yourself. So I've tried, but Dean won't get on here. But I do have another student in town who's just getting over the Rona. And I'm gonna try and get him on at least one or two of these Zoom calls in a couple of weeks so that I can kind of demonstrate some of this stuff with a person in front of me. I also have a bob that I'm going to start using in the next couple of weeks to show some stuff. But with the footwork stuff and the like reading the guy's stance, it's impossible on a bob that doesn't have legs.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like unless you have like a fully posable, which would be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool to be honest. There's this sci-fi novel that was written in like the 90s called The Musashi Flex. This guy Steve Perry wrote it, and it's a prequel to these other books he wrote later on, but it follows around these guys who are like kind of like competitive MMA people that travel the galaxy and fight each other and whatever. But the one guy who's the main character has a dummy that he uses to train with it's a full robot, so like it does all kinds of stuff. It talks shit to him, like he bought it programmed with the shit talking package, so it talks like really awkward smack, but he makes reference to the actual bobs because it's called Bob, and he's like, this is hundreds of years in the future, and he's like, I don't know why it's called Bob, but they've just been calling it Bob forever. So it's supposed to be the like later on down the line what Bob becomes.
This sounds like a book that Sumerian Dog would have passages memorized of.
Very possibly.
Well, let me ask you, Matt. So what I've been doing, because I got asthma, and everybody's making their own choice about the virus, which I get and I respect. But even though I have the fucking NoHo dogs, I have the best around to go train with. I haven't done it. And luckily, everybody's been cool about it. I'm sure when I finally show up with a vaccination, they'll beat the shit out of me, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, for now, though, what do you think? So I asked Omega about it, and he puts tape on his tires for accuracy. I also just try to be really slow and mechanical with my reflection. Like, so in the sliding glass door. I mean, I know obviously I'm matching the footwork and stuff, but just really targeting the head, the hand, and working on those angles, I found has helped me.
I like that. Using your reflection is a good way to learn how to target and to continue to practice that, because unless you have another person to throw at, the best thing that you could have is some sort of an anatomical targeting system. And if you have the ability to see your reflection, or even, some guys would just draw a silhouette on the wall, or, like I have a bob, so I can at least target certain things. But even I'm creating a shirt with arms for him because my bob doesn't have arms. So I want to get something to work through with my strikes. So I'm getting some pool noodles and I'm cutting them at angles. I'm going to shove them. Yeah, I got to go to I just thought of that this week, but I'm going to shove them in a long sleeve t-shirt at, arm-like angles. And then I can tape a stick or something to the end of the hand to give myself another target.
You're getting us one step closer to the millennia future Bob with the robot and the shit talking. You just need to hook a tape recorder to the back of its neck with the Fender dog or somebody being like, "Come on, gay cowboy, let's go."
Yeah, exactly. We're getting there. The future is now. Jeez.
So how, I mean, again, Matt, in terms of how you run your class, by the way, this was awesome, dude. You should have
glad-
12
I'm
people on
glad.
this
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
And I love she's just doing like gymnastics, which is great.
Oh, that's so Sherlyn will usually be doing gymnastics in the background between
Nice.
she mutes herself so she's
Sometimes I'm
not
doing other stuff.
Sherlyn, have you been at the last couple? Because I think you made it into the tribe the same day I did.
Maybe.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't know what anybody said.
Oh, I was asking have you been at gatherings and at the tribals?
Yeah, I've been at 2 opens and 1 tribal.
Okay, because I think I've seen you and we just have missed each other. Also,
Oh,
because
you can't miss me. I'm usually wearing a skirt.
yeah, no,
Thank you.
what
I
I
would say
mean
that's
is
a fucking
in terms
tutu,
of-
dude. That's not just a skirt.
Yeah, what I mean in terms
Really?
of like saying hi, like I think I saw you stab Michael Omega Dog to death, so that was great.
I doubt that, but okay. I'll
Yeah,
take
well,
it.
maybe. Anyway, I'll look for you next time if you're out there. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I haven't met yet that I'm looking forward to. But goddamn, everybody's just such a different fighter that keeps you on your toes. So Matt, I wanted to ask, like, how much do you aim for, or do you suggest we aim for in terms of running these sequences? Really getting them programmed in.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta let my dog in because he's having a spaz. Mr.
Yeah,
Ross,
dude, do it.
Here you go, bud. Rascal usually doesn't get to come in here because the cat box is in my closet and he will eat poop. So
Oh, it's delicious. Yeah.
Ew.
Come on, jump up. Come on. You can do it. All right.
Yeah, it's the
There you go.
best.
Oh, so this is Rascal. He's a,
Oh, hey, Rascal.
he's a good guy.
It's a good name.
Oh, dude, it was really prophetic. At first, I wanted to name him Ruckus, and Heather was like, "Dude, we can't name him Ruckus." I was like, "Yeah, but sometimes I just want to bring the motherfucking Ruckus, and I think it would be hilarious if we called him that on his."
Any name based on Wu-Tang is always going to be the
Right.
proper choice. How old is he, Matt?
10 months, I think.
Oh shit, you got a teenager, dude. So if you ever want to jump onto my Zoom experience, I had my class earlier today at 2 p.m. So
Oh, okay.
you're always welcome
Yeah.
to jump in.
We're working on some stuff with him. Last week, the poor guy, I brought him up to the sparring day, and
Yeah.
Heather got him one of those, collars with the beep, the vibrate, and what I
Mhm.
didn't know is it had the zap. She never said anything about it.
Mhm.
We've been teaching him to be off leash at the barn with us and stuff because he goes to the barn every day, and he's pretty good about it. But sometimes he'll chase a jogger up the canal or like jump in the water when we tell him no. So we got him the collar, and Heather was the only one that had used it. And I was getting ready to go up to Dean's, and she was like, "Yeah, bring the collar, put it on him." And she was like, give him a command. If he doesn't listen, do it a couple more times, and then give him the beep. I misunderstood how to use this thing. So I thought I pressed the button real quick with the beep, that arms it, and then I press the lightning bolt and that does the beep.
Sure.
Apparently the lightning bolt does the shock. She didn't tell me there was shock. She said there was beep and there was vibrate. So I zapped him, and I didn't know. I thought I was like, oh geez, that vibrate really scared the shit out of him. Meanwhile, Dean is looking at me like, oh wow, you really?
Yeah.
And then I did it again, and he like looked at me again, and I went, am I shocking my dog right now? And he goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure you are. Are you pressing the orange button? I was like, yeah, I armed it with the other button, and then I'm pressing the button. And he's like, no, asshole, that's a lightning bolt. And I was like, oh, I would never. I felt so bad. I was like, I took the collar off him. I was like, I'm so sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to do it.
I totally leave it open to everybody. So I used to do that kind of stuff about 10 years ago, like Cesar Millan, submission rolling, alpha, all that shit. But I started studying in like 2011, 2012, positive reinforcement. So I don't use that stuff anymore. A long lead at the barn so you can set its boundaries. The other thing that people overlook is at 10 months, you're basically dealing with like a 13-year-old kid. Which is like, fuck you, you're not my real dad. I'm gonna go to the mall. Like, so like once you get to those life phases. But that being said, Yeah, dude, there's a ton of stuff I can send to you guys just to look over. But again, it's everybody's choice. I always say it's like, you know, telling somebody how to raise their kid. It's like I'll suggest things, but ultimately it's your decision, you know. So
Yeah.
but,
Oh no, we definitely would be open.
yeah, cool, dude. Well, we'll trade Zoom links.
Sure.
But dude, this was excellent today, man. Thank you so much.
Cool. I'm glad. If you have any questions or anything after that comes up, if you start training this stuff, I mean, I saw you were writing things down. So if you wind up hitting a point where your notes didn't catch something exactly,
Yeah.
please ask.
Well-
And I'm also going to upload this, like I told Ryan tonight. Also, Ryan was a little disruptive because I don't think that was his first Old English tonight. Because normally he shuts
I
the
wasn't
fuck
gonna
up. Yeah, he's not normally. That was, hey, sorry, buddy, if you're watching this afterwards.
No,
was
no,
definitely-
it's all, I mostly was like, God damn, I wish I had an Old English right now. No, it's all good. It's just I find that Zoom, and I have this with my own classes, like the way it just cuts the mic when somebody else speaks. It's like even if you clear your throat, you'll miss a couple words. But I got everything I needed to tonight, and I mean, if anything, it's nice to have somebody who's enthusiastic, you know. So there you go.
Oh yeah, he loves it, and he's been to. This was like his third class this week. Like I usually do a one-on-one with him during the week, and then
Wow.
he came to the one this morning as well. So
Great.
and actually he was here last night. Saturday night we'll usually, like, I get out of work and we'll do a little bit of technique stuff, but Catch Dog usually jumps on. He's like preparing to go to work at that point in the night.
Yeah, because is he still working night shift or
Yeah,
whatever?
he does the overnight. He'll jump on and like bullshit with us until he leaves for work, and then he'll jump on the one in the morning too at work.
He was the very first one at the 2018 Beat the Crap Out of Cancer, which was my first, that showed me the just straight blast.
Yeah.
And then I trained it later with Ronnie and Carrie out east, which Ronnie was awesome. He's the one that almost broke my forearm and gave me this giant goose egg because I kept doing this instead of the roof. And during the fight, he literally was like, "Move your arm," and I was like, "I'm trying." Like,
No, move it to the other way.
yeah, no, actually get it. I'm tired of hitting it. But no, Matt, I mean, sincerely, dude, with your knowledge and the way you explain things tonight, like I got a good, excellent graph. And a lot of this touches into what I've already learned with Donnybrook and all those guys with the NoHo gang. Cause I've had privates with Pappy and with Eric, Tennessee Dog. But the cool thing is every one of you guys approaches something in a different way. So I learned something new every time. So this was fantastic, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
For sure, with those guys in particular, you're going to see some continuity between the Dog Brothers and PTK material, because a lot of that stuff I know. But then it's filtered. Mine is filtered. My PTK is filtered from Phil Jelena, Sled Dog, through Green Mountain Dog to me. And then my Krabi is Loki, who's Tricky Dog, through Green Mountain Dog to me. So those things kind of came in a little bit of a different way than those other guys. Nick is also he's like a fucking guru or whatever in PTK, and you know, he's pretty deep. He's been there for a long time, and you know, he's imparted parts of that to the NoHo group, but it's just in different ways from what I've done. So every time we work together, we see things that are similar but done very slightly differently.
No, that's every one. And the thing I got from Tennessee too, which is I'm glad you were, because you know I've got the foam sticks or whatever, but man, there's just, it's not the same as actually having one of these when you're training, and even the weight of it too. So no, I'll work through some of this stuff and slow it down and get it programmed, because I know for sure the one thing that's come from not sparring or not having actual fights is getting loose in terms of, okay, well, what happens when it gets hit, you know, and you're like, oh shit, right? Which again is what happened when I kind of short circuited fighting you. It didn't help either that, like, Greg, by the way, and hopefully he watches this YouTube and we can laugh about it, pulled me aside and he's like, you're fighting Matt, right? Fighting Fox. I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, just get through it. And I was like, okay.
Just get through it.
Like, and then later he was like, it's a sign of respect that he gave you concussion. I'm like, great, that's great. I'm gonna go sit down. Awesome.
Oh, see, you would ask me for that bottle of mead, and I was like, well, you're going to pay for it through a stick
Yeah.
fight. You
No,
saw,
and-
you know, my first stick fight that day was very short. I ended that dude as soon as he didn't like the stick, he closed. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But with you, I was like, oh no, this is gonna go the whole 2 minutes. I was like, we're doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
No, and I still to this day, I'll be like sitting somewhere in traffic and I'll randomly remember that pole and how much I wish I had just dropped and done that at your leg. And I'm sure you would have gone, okay, and just hit me in the head anyway. But
maybe
then we went to the ground, and after that, I just don't have a lot of ground game. So it was just, I was kind of doing that. But it was a damn good fight, man. It
Yeah.
was really good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm happy to help you recreate the feeling the next time.
Well, hopefully not as
Maybe
much
a little less. Yeah. Hey, well, you know, I'll give you some. Oh, Mr. Rascal. We also encourage him to let people know when they walk by. He's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
We're teaching him. You know, he'll bark a couple of times and we'll say enough, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, dude. There's a way to put it on a cue. There's a lot of options. If you want to, man. Again, it's totally. I mean, it's my fucking class, so I can decide who's there anyway. If you guys just want to come next Sunday, just check it out. Bring Heather, and you literally can just watch. You can do the training. It's all treat-based training. A lot of people are like, "Oh, where's the punishment? Where's the?" But what science shows in terms of their brains is it's much easier to build what you want as opposed to negate. But the next time you go to the barn at Petco, it's a cloth lead, not like the retractable. The cloth lead can show him where the boundaries are. And then what happens is if you train it enough and reward him when he comes back to you, then you don't need the lead anymore because you've conditioned it in his brain. Like, oh, I go here, but then I come back, right? But anyway, there's a whole bunch of shit I can send you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll talk to Heather about it because I think she's off next Sunday, so maybe that will work perfect.
Yeah, just options, you know, because especially you're gonna be in this teenager juvenile phase at least up into a year and a half, which is when they're specifically like, I'm gonna fuck with you now and see what you do, right? Which his true name is Ruckus, and we both know it. So, dude, this is awesome. I'll start working on this. And you said the next one you guys do is Wednesday, or when is it?
So I do some morning classes with people during the week, but those ones are generally one-on-ones.
Sure.
Sunday 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. are pretty set in stone, but also I do Saturday night. That one's a little bit of technique, a little bit of bullshit about, like, this week we talked about there was a crazy shooting incident in Pennsylvania. So we talked about that. Oh, it wasn't good. But we kind of like broke that down. One of my guys that's been training with me is he's a security specialist. He does private security and personal protection, that kind of stuff. And he's been a sponsor, and he's got a lot of experience, and he does firearm training himself. So
that's great.
You know, we talked about that situation from a couple of different perspectives, and you know, and I usually have a couple of beers on Saturday night. I don't get as disruptive as Ryan, but that's because everybody's talking for the most part. It's not.
It's all good, man. It's weird gym mic shit.
No, like I said,
well, the only
watch this.
So. Yeah, dude, I'll let you go here, man. Thanks so much for your time. But the other little bit of background I have is through Luke Holloway and Raw Combat. So there's some of that stuff, and we went through a phase where that's mostly what I was running with Eric and with Greg. But then, you know how it is. It's like, oh shit, the gathering or the tribal. Oh God, we got to focus on this, you know. So, but it all folds together, thankfully. So
I like that stuff. I like Luke Holloway. He's been around the internet for a minute.
Oh, dude, yeah. He you know, he's a fucking gorilla, number one, and number two. He's incredibly intuitive, and I just love all the like stripped away shit, you know. It's just very like, here's what's practical, and again, what I love is the situational awareness of like, you shouldn't even, because when I go visit my friend in Brazil, like that's a different world, right? You gotta have your fucking eyes, especially being a white man, right? So anyway, man, well, thanks so much. I don't know what that is. What is that?
I don't know. What are you doing?
It's a heavy bag.
Oh, it was
God, I wasn't
on the heavy
muted.
bag. I was like, it sounds like chains. Yep.
Yeah, I thought you were like.
There's chains up
something
there.
Break.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Same. Thank you very much. Have a great night, guys.
All right. If anything, I'll see you next Sunday. Thanks again, Matt. And I'll send
It's
you.
Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day. I know.
Oh, okay. So wear a big heart while we beat each other up. Dude, as soon as we hang up, man, send me your PayPal or Venmo, whichever one you want to do. Okay.
Rock and roll, dude. Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
See you
guys.
later, guys. Bye.
All right, see you soon.